Hey, so very brief explanation of how we work with our clients long term. So how do we create lasting success with our ongoing partners? So I'm going to start with the team and how we best work together to create these results. Successful consulting companies operate in teams. So we have a day-to-day lead consultant that handles the client calls, most of the client communication, and he's the one that adopts these strategies and principles to your business. So where I'm more of a process type of person, so we complement each other very well. So my personal role here is strategy, processes, and team leadership. If there is ever a question that the lead consultant wants to ask me, we'll figure it out together. And he is here mostly working on this account on an ongoing basis. I'm the one working on the strategy and making sure that we have everything needed to succeed personnel-wise. Now, nobody can do it alone, and even two people cannot do everything together. So we have an extended team here. And for example, if we want to work with email, we would go to Dustin. Oleg does all of our technical testing. So we have specialists that we can draw on as needed to help us create better deliverables and help us overcome problems that otherwise would be very difficult to overcome, and also to move along faster. And that's helpful because for any individual company, as they say they want to do technical testing, it would be very time consuming to hire that for a single technical testing process. So that's where that gets to be very helpful. Here is what I call our big three. How do the long-term engagements work? Generally, we recommend a bi-weekly call. And the call is, in some ways it sounds like it's going to take time, but it, in our experience, saves your time. Because we can cover so many things on the call that otherwise would be covered over email or over Slack. So that's quite a time saver. Plus, it helps you and us get clarity and get to the same page. So we found this to be very helpful. And for our calls, we'll always prepare an agenda. So we'll have talking points and try to make that as close to a 10 out of 10 meeting as possible. So the calls are to go over results, define focuses, solve problems, and brainstorm on general improvement ideas. So that's the project planning / the leadership part. And then we of course need these things to be implemented. Otherwise they're not worth anything. Ideas are not worth anything without putting them into practice in a way that works. So that's where our specialists help with all that expertise and implementation skills that they have. And there, the bi-weekly model works really well because then they will also have time to implement before the next meeting. And everything's predictable for their workload as well. So we'll be able to take it forward between that time. Then the third principle that we found to be very helpful is just being completely transparent on tasks and budgets. So we've invited you to our project management tool to see what's going on, as you see everything that we do as well. So in that way, it is a true partnership and not just something we're billing you for. And there, we'll also provide you budget sheets on where the time was invested. So you can take a look if you need to in any case. Alright, so that's that. Next I'll expand on that a little bit. So transparency of work. This is probably pretty self-evident, so feel free to pause. But we want to have everything in one place as much as possible. And there all the work and communication will be on a single place, which will help to keep things aligned and also manageable. We've invested a lot not only to the software side, but building the software to be working in a way that helps these ongoing projects be smooth and run in a way where we don't waste time with the project management tool, since everything is as much built into it already as possible. Now, next, let's talk about outcomes. So there are key objectives and key responsibilities with every project. And objects-wise, generally it's pretty simple. You have two primary objectives. You are looking to increase cash flow long term and improve the valuation of the business. Those are generally that. But when it comes to optimization, there are a little bit of a finesse in there in terms of improving the site's conversion ability and user friendliness. That's the general thing that's going to help you get toward those big objectives. And then the second big objective there is that you can make more money, you can free up your time or your human resources from the website and CRO focus to other focuses where you can then utilize your time and your team's time better. So here, this one would be to improve cash flow. You're going to improve your cash flow by improving your conversion ability or revenue per user. And that's a means of achieving that. Then improving the value of the business is going to improve your ability to sell it and the valuation of it in general. And then freeing up human resources from the website and CRO to other focuses is going to save you time. So those are the three key objectives. And then key responsibilities. These are on areas of planning, running the CRO program, consulting on matters, helping out there, organization operation when it comes to the optimization program, and then of course teamwork as well, helping your team get their things to the next level. So the means of achieving that is the proactive sparring, so getting on with bi-weekly calls, working in between that to achieve these discussed outcomes, then coordinating that backlog, and not only coordinating that, putting together with an actionable schedule and helping to implement it, and lastly being part of the team and driving that long-term financial improvement and developing not only your site, perhaps your email marketing, but also those internal capabilities so that the team can also take more and more responsibility going forward. Now, ongoing success does require ongoing effort as well. So this is how we work with regards to that. We have a monthly budget, so a set number of hours per month allocated to this particular project. And then we will provide a plan that fits that budget and then utilize the resources to achieve those planned outcomes and implement the strategy. There are a couple things that make this a bit different from what I think mostly you'd encounter in the industry. With us, no commitments, only month-to-month retainer as we call it. So you can cancel that anytime you'd like before a new payment is made. You have complete control over that. Now that means that me and you, like you and CRO Gurus, both need to benefit from the relationship. And of course, we reserve a similar right to us to stop working with clients if it's not working out, if we don't enjoy the project or find it beneficial for us as well. So that is a very flexible model. And then that flexibility also allows us to distribute these priorities between our team members to maximize both the delivered value from the engagement and the speed of execution. So it helps us in defining the scope, let's say mid-month, if something new comes up without having to renegotiate the pricing. Now, you probably have a few different options on the table. It's very possible that you're considering others as well. And I'd actually encourage this because I want people that work with us to be more on board. And the more on board is they are when they know that they have chosen through multiple different agencies. They just know that there's no better one out there. We believe that optimization, especially e-commerce optimization, is a very complicated field, and it can only be done well if you devote your life to it, so to say. So there's a lot of Me Too agencies that do CRO because it's just an additional service for them to generate revenue from. It's not their thing. It's just their add-on thing. So they just throw it on top of everything. And if they're not only working on CRO, there's often a lot of accountability. So, for example, like let's say you have a branding agency doing your optimization or that kind of thing, then they can always justify it with vague, unmeasurable KPIs. So there is that lack of accountability oftentimes. And if you don't do this full time, you generally don't have a strategy. You just tend to wing it. And oftentimes agencies that are a little bit big, they tend to have their junior staff work on those smaller clients. So let's say you're an e-commerce merchant under 10 million USD, you'd often be a small client to a big agency. So that's the general agency path. Now, I myself came from a freelancer background. For years I did this myself, and I constantly ran into a few challenges. So you have one-person dependency with freelancers. So there's just a single viewpoint, and you're often tapping into their workload limits if they get busy doing everything. And then it's very rare that the freelancers would be good at like absolutely everything that's needed. There's just so many different dimensions that need to be known for successful CRO. And lastly, it's very common that they don't have time to think through the strategy. There's so much in the weeds implementing that this part gets overlooked just because the day-to-day can be very busy. Now, we do bill on an hourly model, or set of hour model rather, but there's a lot of additional value we can bring because we have optimized our service delivery over the last few years. So we'll be able to bring in software that we use across our client portfolio, and this is completely included in your investment as well. Additionally, there will be a few resources that we can also pull from. So we built different libraries that help our work be more effective. And this way, you're not just paying for the hours, you're also investing in getting all of this because it helps us deliver a lot more value for these hours. So this is these are internal resources for us to use on our work. We have proprietary software, as discussed, project management, marketing, tracking, competitor monitoring software. Then we have our library of 300 key growth strategies for systematic growth, and then several hundred different templates that we can draw upon with our consulting and can utilize these to make our work more effective. And of course, then over the years, we also developed a good hand-picked network of quality freelancers with negotiated bulk discount rates, which we can use on our projects. So many times, since we are providing them ongoing work, I can negotiate really good rates. That ends up working for all of us. Next, and the last thing, as much as we can do for you, we cannot do absolutely everything for you. So it's important to understand the client role is still critical for success. And as a client, you can delegate accountabilities to subordinates. And we will take care of a lot of this ourselves as much as possible. And as much as we value proactivity and things delivered ready and easily to you, it's like we operate on a done-for-you model. But your involvement is still key to success. That's why it's a partnership. It's just not like a service that you happen to receive. So something to keep in mind, and you need to be mentally ready for this yourself as well. It won't take a lot of your time, but investing a couple hours a week, 1 to 2 hours a week on it, will help us help you a lot more. And at the end of the day, you are in a marketing business. So if you think of like how much time you spend on your traffic, this is probably just a fraction of that. And this all that post-traffic activities that go into it. So it's a huge piece as well. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching and looking forward to hearing from you.